When you talk about real commitment, you're not talking about interest, you're not talking about trying, and you're definitely not talking about convenience. You're talking about a decision that removes every single exit door from your life. That's the level Eric Thomas speaks from, and that's the level you have to reach if you truly want to win. See, most people say they're committed, but they still keep a backup plan. They still leave room for failure. They still whisper to themselves, if this doesn't work, I can always do something else. That right there is the problem. Because when quitting is an option, it becomes a temptation. And when it becomes a temptation, sooner or later, when things get hard, and they will get hard, you're going to take that option. But when you eliminate the exit plan completely, something powerful happens, your mindset shifts, your focus sharpens. Your energy aligns with your purpose. Now it's no longer, I hope this works. It becomes, I will make this work. That's a different level of thinking. That's survival mode, that's hunger. That's when you stop playing games and start doing whatever it takes. Because now, failure is not just uncomfortable, it's unacceptable. Think about it. When your back is against the wall, when there is no plan B, you move differently. You think differently. You grind harder, you stay up longer, you sacrifice more, and you push past limits you didn't even know existed. Why? Because you have no choice. And that's exactly where greatness is born, not in comfort, not in convenience, but in commitment with no escape. Too many people treat their dreams like hobbies. They work on them when they feel like it. They show up when it's easy. They quit when it gets tough. But commitment doesn't operate like that. Commitment says, I'm all in. It says, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many times I fall. I'm getting back up every single time. That's the difference between those who talk about success and those who actually achieve it. And let's be real, this journey is not easy. There will be days when you feel exhausted, days when you doubt yourself, days when nothing seems to go your way. That's normal, but when you're truly committed, those days don't stop you. They test you. They reveal how serious you really are. Anybody can stay motivated when things are going well, but can you stay locked in when everything is falling apart? Can you keep going when there's no immediate reward? That's where commitment proves itself, because real commitment is not based on feelings. It's based on decision. It's based on discipline. It's based on a mindset that says, no matter what happens, I'm not quitting. So if you really want to stay committed, you have to make a decision today. Remove the safety net. Stop giving yourself permission to quit. Stop negotiating with your goals. Burn the bridges behind you and force yourself to move forward. Because when there is no exit plan, success is no longer one of many options. It becomes the only outcome. Let's get one thing straight. Success is not built in the moments of excitement. It's built in the moments of repetition. Everybody feels powerful on day one. Everybody is motivated when the vision is fresh, when the energy is high, when the dream feels close. But what happens when that feeling fades? What happens when the grind becomes predictable, when the work becomes routine, when nobody is cheering for you anymore? That's where most people fall off. That's where the difference shows up, because staying committed is not about how you start. It's about how you continue when things get boring. That's the level Eric Thomas talks about. He doesn't hype you up for the beginning. He prepares you for the middle, the part nobody claps for. You see, boredom is dangerous because it tricks you into thinking nothing is happening. You start telling yourself, this isn't working, or maybe this isn't for me, just because you're not feeling the excitement anymore. But what you don't realize is that repetition is where mastery lies. Doing the same thing over and over again, perfecting your craft, showing up every single day. That's where real growth happens. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, and it's definitely not easy, but it's necessary. Champions are not made in moments of hype. They are built in the quiet, in the routine, in the discipline of doing what needs to be done even when they don't feel like doing it. The truth is, motivation will leave you. That spark you felt in the beginning, it won't last forever. And if you depend on it, you're setting yourself up to fail. That's why you need discipline. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. It's what forces you to wake up early, to put in the work, to stay consistent even when your mind is telling you to relax. Most people wait until they feel like working, but winners work regardless of how they feel. They understand that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. And the only way to get those results is through consistency. Think about the people who achieve greatness. They didn't quit because things got repetitive. They didn't stop because it got boring. They leaned into it. They embraced the process. They understood that every single repetition was a step closer to their goal. Every small effort, every unseen hour, every moment of discipline, it all adds up, and one day, while others are still starting and stopping, they break through. Not because they were more talented, not because they had more resources, but because they stayed consistent when everyone else gave up. So if you really want to stay committed, you have to change your relationship with boredom. Stop seeing it as a sign to quit and start seeing it as a sign that you're on the right path. Because if it feels repetitive, it means you're putting in the work. If it feels slow, it means you're building something real. Don't chase excitement, chase consistency. Don't rely on motivation, build discipline. And most importantly, don't stop just because it's not fun anymore. Because the moment you push through that boredom, the moment you stay locked in when it's hardest to stay focused, that's the moment you separate yourself from everybody else. Let's stop sugarcoating it. If you're chasing greatness, pain is coming with it. There is no version of success that doesn't require struggle, sacrifice, and moments that test everything inside you. The problem is, most people want the reward without the resistance. They want the win without the wounds. But that's not how this works. That's not the mindset preached by Eric Thomas, and it's definitely not the mindset that produces real results. If you're serious about staying committed, you have to understand this truth at your core. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher, your trainer, and your transformation. Every level of growth comes with discomfort. When you step outside your comfort zone, it's supposed to feel unfamiliar, even painful. That's the sign that you're evolving, but too many people misinterpret that feeling. The moment it gets hard, they think something is wrong. They start questioning their path, doubting their abilities, and looking for a way out. But what if nothing is wrong? What if that pain is exactly what you need? What if those sleepless nights, those failures, those setbacks are preparing you for something bigger than you imagined? See, pain has a purpose, but only if you're willing to go through it instead of running from it. Think about the times you've grown the most in your life. It wasn't when everything was easy. It wasn't when everything was going your way. It was when you were pushed, when you were challenged, when you had no choice but to rise. That's what pain does. It forces you to adapt. It builds resilience. It strengthens your mindset. It reveals what you're really made of. And here's the truth. If you can learn to embrace pain instead of avoiding it, you gain an advantage that most people will never have. Because while others are quitting at the first sign of struggle, you're pushing forward, getting stronger, getting sharper, getting closer. Now, let's be clear, embracing pain doesn't mean you enjoy it. It means you respect it. It means you understand that every difficult moment is part of the process. When you fail, you don't break, you learn. When you get rejected, you don't stop, you adjust. When things don't go your way, you don't quit. You keep moving. That's commitment. That's the mindset that separates those who dream from those who achieve, because at the end of the day, everybody feels pain, but not everybody uses it. And there will be moments when it feels overwhelming, moments when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're questioning if it's even worth it. That's when your commitment is tested the most. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started. That's when you have to dig deeper than your emotions and rely on your discipline. Because pain is temporary, but quitting, that stays with you. The regret of giving up lasts far longer than the discomfort of pushing through. So if you want to stay committed, you have to change the way you see pain. Stop treating it like a stop sign and start treating it like a signal that you're growing. Understand that every challenge is shaping you into the person you need to become. And most importantly, don't run when it gets hard. Lean in. Because on the other side of that pain is progress. On the other side of that struggle is strength. And on the other side of that commitment is the life you've been fighting for. At the end of the day, commitment is not powered by motivation. It's powered by purpose. And if your purpose isn't strong enough, your commitment won't survive the pressure. That's the reality most people try to ignore. They set goals, they get excited, they start strong. But when life hits them, when things get difficult, when obstacles show up, they fall apart. Why? Because their why was weak. It sounded good, but it didn't mean enough. That's why Eric Thomas always emphasizes this. When your why is powerful, it will push you when nothing else can. It becomes the fuel that keeps you going when your energy is gone, when your motivation is drained, and when your mind is telling you to quit. You have to understand excuses are always available. You will always have a reason to stop. I'm tired. I don't have time. It's too hard. I'm not ready. These excuses will show up every single day, dressed differently but carrying the same message. Quit. And if your why is not stronger than those excuses, you will listen to them. You will give in. You will settle. That's why you can't just have a surface level reason. You need something deep, something emotional, something that hits you in your soul, something that reminds you why you started in the first place. Maybe your why is your family. Maybe it's proving something to yourself. Maybe it's breaking a cycle, changing your life, or creating a future that looks nothing like your past. Whatever it is, it has to matter enough to you that quitting is not an option. Because when your why is real, it doesn't let you rest in mediocrity. It doesn't let you stay comfortable. It keeps pushing you even when you don't feel like moving. It reminds you that what you're working for is bigger than how you feel in the moment. And here's the truth. Your why will be tested. There will be days when you forget it, days when it feels distant. Days when the struggle makes you question everything. That's why you have to keep it in front of you. You have to remind yourself daily, write it down, speak it out loud, visualize it. Make it so clear in your mind that even on your worst days, you can still see it. Because when your vision is clear, your actions become stronger. When your purpose is solid, your discipline becomes automatic. Most people rely on motivation to get them through, but motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Your why, on the other hand, is constant. If you truly connect with it, it becomes your anchor. It becomes your reason to wake up early, to stay up late, to keep pushing when everyone else is stopping. It gives meaning to your struggle. It turns your pain into purpose. And when that happens, commitment is no longer something you have to force. It becomes who you are. So if you want to stay committed, don't just focus on what you're doing, focus on why you're doing it. Build a reason so strong that excuses don't stand a chance. Build a purpose so powerful that quitting feels impossible. Because when your why is bigger than your excuses, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not fatigue, nothing. That's when you become unstoppable.